want to thank you, GSBA, for inviting me to be here today. I am humbled to be amongst such a strong, caring, and motivated group of individuals. We are here today in the spirit of love and in the spirit of community, both of which have allowed a network of support that has impacted the lives of countless individuals like myself over the past 26 years. So, I will tell you a little bit more about myself in a bit, but first I want to say thank you to the GSBA for the opportunities that this scholarship fund has afforded me. When people think of a scholarship, the first thing that comes to mind is the monetary benefits of the award. To me, this specific scholarship has stood out more than any other honor that I have received. Quite unexpectedly, this scholarship came with a new family of support that welcomed me to Seattle with open arms. I arrived from Spokane to attend the UW as the first person in my family to attend college, and as I will explain later, I arrived feeling very alone. Thank you. I remember receiving follow-ups from the GSBA in more ways than one. In addition to the regular invitations and updates of events that the GSBA offered, I also received personal check-ins from one particular board member, April. April would check in to see how I was doing given my personal situation. April wanted to make sure I was okay, always asked how school was going, and if I was adjusting okay to life in the new city. Realizing that I had a new network of people who cared about me from day one of my academic pursuits really empowered me to do well in school, for I knew I was not completely alone. I started my first year of my undergraduate studies knowing I had a community of amazing people standing alongside me. For that, I will be forever grateful. Your support and motivation has inspired me. I completed my bachelor's at the UW Foster School of Business in 2014. And this past spring, I completed my Master's of Science in Information Management from the Information School. Looking back at it all now, as a first-year PhD student in the Information School, leaves a great smile on my face, determination on my sleeve, gratitude in my heart, and the GSBA in my soul. So, thank you. My road, though, to this very moment has not been easy. For those who have seen me in a much more casual setting, you know that I am covered in tattoos. As an inspiring professor, though, I think I have managed to keep them pretty well contained, if I may say so myself. Out of all my tattoos, though, there is one that means the most to me. This one was my first, and although it is the smallest, it happens to share the story that shaped who I am today. It reads 9436 in Roman numerals, sits right above my heart, representing my grandfather's birthday. My real name is not Freddy, it is Sigifredo, and I was named to honor my grandfather, who was killed when my dad was not old enough to speak. Back when my dad was an infant, my grandfather was managing a company down in Mexico. One day, he discovered one of his employees was stealing money from the organization, so he fired him. The next day, that man who my grandfather let go came back and shot him down. That very day turned my dad's life upside down. My dad was one of 7 kids who my grandmother now had to raise on her own in the small, devastatingly poor town of Aguililla, Mexico, and in a cultural context that was not supportive of a single woman supporting a family on her own. Even though my grandmother was working 3 jobs to support her family, she still wasn't always sure where the next meal would come from, constantly facing a battle to make ends meet. As a result, my dad had a very harsh and troubled upbringing, leading him to dream of a life in the States where opportunities for a decent quality of life seemed more attainable. My dad eventually did move to the US in his teen years, making his way to Central Washington, where he met my mom at Othello High School. All throughout his childhood, my dad wished for a happier life for himself and his family. After meeting my mom and ultimately discovering she was the love of his life, he set off to accomplish just that. Being the firstborn son and child, my dad named me after his dad, who was taken from him at the age of 2. He wanted to honor him and give his new family a life he never got to enjoy for himself. Now, you can just imagine the expectations that were to come my way. As a Chicano son of a working-class family whose father's childhood existed in the rough and corrupt state of Michoacan, Mexico, I certainly had a lot to deal with, not just as a male in my family's household, but there was a lot of pressure on me as the firstborn son and oldest of 3 children. I grew up in a culture where hypermasculine norms dominated the lives of men. While my dad did have to work multiple jobs at times to support us, I never ever knew what starvation meant, like my dad did as a young child. He gave me security, love, and a roof over my head. However, when I came out as gay, that security, love, and eventually roof over my head shifted. My dad tried to instill fear, his fear, in efforts to change the way I am. Those were the very same fears he shared when thinking about what it meant to be gay in his own country. One of which is that gay people will have a much harder walk of life in life. He also had a lot of pride and a very large ego that blocked him from trying to understand me and my own internal struggle. He had me half believing that opportunities would be closed and my safety would always be at risk, but I tried not to let my dad's fears, ignorance, and selfishness get to me. I often stood up to him in the vulgar things he had to say about gay people, and when I couldn't, my mom had no hesitation on getting involved. But the day I saw that the well-being of my mom and the relationship she had with my dad being compromised as a result of her trying to protect me, I begged my mom not to stand up for me any longer. I would much rather tolerate my dad's punishments than bearing the sight of my parents fighting. So I chose to take matters into my own hands and try to talk to my dad in efforts to change, maybe his mindset or get through to him. In the end, I was rejected and eventually disowned. That didn't stop me though. During the downfall of my relationship with my father, I received notification that I had been awarded a scholarship from the GSBA for the upcoming year and news that I was admitted to the University of Washington. So I knew I would be just fine and continued to look ahead, graduating high school under the care and guidance of my uncle and aunt and loving support of my mom. I then began making my way to Seattle, starting school as a first-generation college student. As time has gone on, my relationship with my father has gotten better. We ended up talking again after some time. I may have not been the star athlete, machismo-like son that my dad had hoped for, but I still was a rock star student that my brother and sister always looked up to. So, although we did not talk about my personal life, he has managed to accept the fact that I am his son above anything else. Abandonment was never anything my dad had really wanted, and he regrets disowning me, especially during the first year of my college career. I was hurt, don't get me wrong, but I don't resent my father for the way he treated me in the first few years of coming out. I never have, and I never will. I understand where he comes from, and I tell him thank you for all he has provided me. My dad will always be my dad, just like I will always be a son. I am Freddy Mora, and I'm here today with the strength that was instilled in me as a result of the adversity that my dad has faced each and every day leading up to my birth. And I have been in college for over 7 years now, and I will continue to do so as I have begun my first year of my PhD program. And to my own surprise, I'm not burned out yet. I know that there is much more work to be done. Looking back and thinking about my journey, I believe the ability to be resilient allowed me to keep pushing forward. Resilience not just defines my story, but also that of my family, considering the hardships they have faced. Their ability to overcome their obstacles, especially those before I came into existence, inspires me to continue on the path to success, no matter how unbearable things seem at times. I also feel that resilience not just represents my family and my experiences, but also epitomizes our community. Following closely on the Supreme Court legislation of same-sex marriage in June of 2015, 2016 was one of the most devastating years in LGBTQ history. At the beginning of this past summer, our nation experienced one of the largest mass shooting in US history. As a queer person of color, the Orlando shootings hit really close to home and left me with much anger, disbelief, and sorrow. Over 90% of the victims were Latino. Most of them were men, gay men. While we may never have the answers to all the questions, nor may we fully come to terms that it happened to our community, we have shown the world how resilient and how unafraid we are. We have also seen the amount of unanticipated love and support that was given in response to this heinous attack. Throughout history, we have proven time and time again that we are one of the most resilient communities on the face of this planet, and giving up or being fearful is never an option. It has never been for me, and you have all proven that it hasn't been for you either. Throughout all of life's challenges, we have managed to stay hopeful while keeping a watch for others along the way. If I personally hadn't stayed hopeful, who knows if I would be standing in front of all of you today. It seems like just yesterday I was walking around the UW campus as a college freshman. That freshman went on to graduate from business school and then move on by earning his master's degree. I will be honest and say that there are some days when I ask myself if I can keep on going. Days where I ask if I'm deserving of the education I am receiving. I question my own self-worth as society at times had me believing that someone like myself could never reach the level of success depicted in my dreams. When it came down to it though, I was able to shake those unwanted thoughts away, and that is because of individuals like you always coming back saying, yes, you can. Today, I am celebrating with great joy that I get to get out of bed, slip on my shoes, and head to campus as a UW PhD student and researcher. I'm a board member for the Multicultural Alumni Partnership at the UW and a representative on 2 UW faculty councils. Expanding beyond the UW campus, I was recently appointed as LGBT Commissioner for the City of Seattle. Having the privilege of working with and giving back to the community that has always believed in me as I work towards my own higher education goals. I know my purpose in life today more than ever. Higher education is not where I want to be, but where I need to be. I don't really want to speak much about the election, but I do want to say this. We live in a society where ignorance and bigotry exist in the depths of our nation. Now, that doesn't necessarily make our work any harder, for that work has always been there. It just makes the work we do that much more important. Like many of you, I am left shocked, confused, saddened, and in great disbelief. To every LGBTQIA+ person, to every immigrant family and friend of mine, to all my Muslim friends and allies, to all those who identify as a person with a disability, I speak for myself and many in the room to say, we are with you. We need to work to educate our neighbors who voted against the very same rights we worked so hard for. I, alongside all of you, will continue to work towards the creation of a community full of acceptance, respect, protection, and support for one another. Those marginalized and at-risk communities who are living in fear need to know that this country is as much theirs and mine as it is yours. There needs to be more educators and university administrators of color and other identities that challenge the disparities in our institution, which is why it is my mission to make myself exist among some of the top future educators of this great nation. I want to represent our community in a way that embraces our values and extend support to students who need it most in the years to come. I feel a great responsibility to give back as a result of the opportunities I've been presented with. This is what gets me out of bed every morning and keeps me excited about life. This very same passion and determination has inspired my brother and sister who are with me right now. It's inspired them to seek out a brighter future for themselves too. I may have not been the only person in my family to go to college, nor am I the only one. Nor am I the last one, because I couldn't be any prouder to say that my sister is completing her senior year of college, and just 3 months ago, my brother was setting foot for the very first time as a college freshman. Seeing their growth each and every day has pushed me to continue to work hard and do what I have been doing to this very moment. With all that said, I really don't want to just celebrate my story. I want to celebrate all of you for being here right now and celebrating with great pride. No matter how dark or unwelcoming the journey may be, or how alone some of us have felt throughout life, no matter what events, big or small, life throws at us, we are all here to celebrate this community by showing just how much we care about the future of our dreamers. You certainly have helped me in more ways than I can count, and I ask you to please join me as we continue to help others like me to achieve their dreams with the same love and support that we all deserve. I recently attended the last Women of Color Empowered Luncheon, where they were acknowledging their final chapter after 20 years of honoring outstanding women of color. One of the panelists wisely said, "There are people in life who watch things happen. There are people in life who make things happen. And there are people in this world who will wonder, what even happened?" I consider myself a person who makes things happen. Thank you, GSBA, for giving me the opportunity to make things happen, not just for myself, but also for the people in my life. Thank you. No, seriously, thank you, though. And I really want to thank you for creating this network of support. And I really do hope to be making the same impact as I pursue my own dreams and fully establish myself in the world of academia. It is an honor to be in a position to pay it forward and to know that my work can potentially make a difference for others. I promise I will make you proud. Many, many thanks. Salud.
Thank you, Freddie.